Okay, so the number 2 problem with choropleth maps, the ecological fallacy. And you see here, my man in the back corner, he's sleeping. Look at the bubble coming out. That means he's sleeping. And he didn't do too well. I'm not crazy about IQ measures, but it's something that, for its problematic aspects, we still um, equate with intelligence, and it works for this example. So if you'd like to critique it, I am open to it, and let's do it. But this could be test exams as well. Um, so the idea here is that we can't assume that every individual's IQ is high, since even though the average is high, if we add all those together, we get 280, we get 400, right? And if we divide four, if we add all these up, we get 400. Is that true? 180 plus 90 is 270, 280, 300, 370. Okay, 420. And if we divide 420 by 4, we get 105. So the average for the class is a 105. And as we saw before, we have to use the standard deviation to tell the full story. So the average is 105, but that does not mean that everyone in the class got a 105, right? We can't assume uniformity based on an average, and that's the ecological fallacy. Similarly, if we look at, let's say, a electoral college map, these are good. The 2020. All right, so this is, I guess, a forecast of what's going to happen in blue. The darker the color for the blue means it's a more democratic state, and the lighter color for the red means that it's going to be a Republican state. A lot of a toss-up. We can see that here. Sorry, I'll move this over a bit. Safe, likely, leans, and toss-ups, right? So we have these 4 categories in here. And this is just, for now, based on some forecasting. Doesn't mean it's going to be right at all. I remember going to this site in the 2016 election, and they definitely did not predict the winner. But that being said, the ecological fallacy here is that everyone in Oklahoma voted Republican, right? That's the fallacy here. No, not everyone in Oklahoma will vote Republican, just like the average does not tell us every individual. Ecological fallacy is assuming something about the individual based on the group they belong to. And with choropleth maps, in this case, it's telling us that even though the electoral college goes to the victor of this state and they get the 7 votes, it does not mean that every person in Oklahoma voted for a Republican. Similarly, in California, there will be some people who vote Republican, even though California, New York are traditionally always blue states, at least in the last, 40 years or something like this. Actually, Reagan might have won those, but post-Reagan, so it doesn't mean in upstate, trust me, there's a lot of people who vote Republican. Trust me, in Long Island, there's a lot of people who vote Republican. In Staten Island, for sure. So what I'm saying is the ecological fallacy is assuming that everyone individual voted Democrat in this state, and indeed they didn't. Okay, so keep that in mind when you see these kind of aggregate things, especially at a state, a county, neighborhood level. We're aggregating data, so this does not talk to every individual in that geographic area.